U.S. citizens or military veterans?
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either. But I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell Mr. Park why you deported him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. You have broad authority, by the way, as Secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want you to remember that
Madam Secretary, the man behind you, please stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife, Donna, has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago. She is currently in prison and facing deportation. Ms. Noem, will you thank Mr. Brown for his service to our country?
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your service to our country.
Now, what possible explanation can there be for locking up his wife for 4 months when she has committed no crime other than writing a couple of bad checks for $80?
Sir, it is not my prerogative, my latitude, or my job to pick and choose which laws in this country get enforced.
You have broad discretion as the Secretary. You can issue parole, you can do all kinds of things, but you're choosing not to. Will you commit, again, to just reviewing Donna's case and reuniting this combat veteran with his beloved wife, who also loves this country?
I will review the case.
Now, Madam Secretary, you've already heard the story of Lance Corporal Alejandro Barranco, the United States Marine veteran who is behind you, who also has 2 brothers who are United States Marines. Will you thank Lance Corporal Barranco for his service?
Thank you for your service.
His father, Narcisco Barranco, is a landscaper in California who has lived peacefully in our country for 30 years and has no criminal record. Last spring, while he was mowing the lawn at an IHOP, ICE agents tackled him in the street and imprisoned him for weeks. A peaceful, hard-working man who raised 3 sons to be United States Marines. We need men of that character in this country. Again, as Secretary, you have broad discretion. Will you consider Lance Corporal Barranco's father for parole in place to stay in our country, owing to the fact that he has contributed to our country by raising 3 United States Marines?
This is an opportunity to remind everybody that every person that's in this country illegally has an opportunity to voluntarily go home and come back the right way.
He raised 3 United States Marines.
We will facilitate that.
He has been living here peacefully, doing his job for 30 years. You have discretion. You are choosing not to use it. Madam Secretary, you promised America that you would go after the worst of the worst. But these people are not the worst of the worst.
I want to be very clear. You have misused resources appropriated by Congress. You've engaged in unethical behavior. You have repeatedly made false and misleading statements to Congress and to the press, and you've undermined the separation of powers and disregarded the role of Congress and the courts. Bottom line, you lie with impunity, you reject checks and balances, and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I've already called for your resignation. You may remember I hand-delivered my request to you back in May, and I urge you to reconsider resignation because I've taken the first step towards your impeachment, and I've called on the Judiciary Committee to open an investigation into your lawlessness. Mr. Chairman, I know that at the end we'll be entering a number of articles into consent, but since I have a few moments, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter calling the Judiciary Committee to investigate Secretary Noem's impeachable offenses. Whatever you choose, the American people will have justice, Secretary, and you will be held accountable. I'm going to make sure of that every single day. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.
In that situation. But you blamed it solely on Joe Biden. I want you to know who approved the asylum application for this same person.
Mr. Thompson, this individual that came into the country.
No, I want to know who approved.
Congressman Thompson, I want you to understand when this individual came into the country, he came under evacuation of Afghanistan under Operation Allies Welcome, was thoroughly vetted by the Biden administration at that point in time, allowed into our country, and then was never followed up. I want to remind everybody in Congress.
Reclaim my time.
We follow the law, and every asylum is supposed to have a check-in every single year, and the Biden administration failed to do that. They vetted this individual, allowed them into our country, and did not do.
Witness will allow the gentleman to ask his question.
Yes or no? Who approved the asylum claim?
The application on the asylum was thoroughly filled out by information that was gathered by the Biden administration.
So the Biden administration approved the asylum. The
asylum application was put into place under the rules established by the Biden administration.
Reclaiming my time. I don't want to file perjury charges against you, but I'm of the opinion that the Trump administration, DHS, your DHS, approved the asylum application.
The asylum application moved forward under all of the information and vetting processes that were put in place under the Biden administration, which is when vetting happened. And that's what President Trump has changed. Under President Trump's administration.
Reclaim my time again.
When
it's obvious you don't want to answer the question. Mr. Kent, do you want a shot at it?
The individual was vetted to serve as a soldier in Afghanistan, and that vetting standard was used by the Biden administration as a ruse to bring him here. Had we followed the standard operating procedures for special immigrant visas, that individual and none of the Allies Welcome people would have come to America. That's on Joe Biden.
Gentleman's time has expired.
That was the answer.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. That was a murder that took place in D.C. It was not an unfortunate incident. And those comments are effing disrespectful.
Who is it?
I expect better from the
It's not a valid point of order. I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, the former.
Someone who uses a baby as a political tool while taking babies away from the family. You cannot use a baby as a political tool while you take away the rights of families. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? You're holding a baby as a political tool. You're holding a child as a separate children from their families. You're separating them. You are families. You should have shame. 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 You should know. God, you know shame.
All over the country. You're not stopping
You are concentration camps. You are the modern day SS. You don't think we stop those.
Shame on you, Christina.
Shame on you, Christina.
Shame on you.
Shame on you for making a baby as a toy. Shame on you. Shame on you for using babies as a separate family.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Sleep at night.
You're using babies as political toys. You go here as political toys.
We are back with breaking news. One of President Trump's cabinet members is reportedly on, quote, thin ice. 4 sources telling MS Now that the president is considering removing Kristi Noem as DHS secretary as early as next month. Let's bring back MS Now White House reporter Jake Traylor. Jake, what more are you learning?
Yeah, Anna, that's right. Those words, very thin ice, that came from a White House official yesterday in reference to Kristi Noem, who's the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Also, an incredibly adamant Trump supporter. Now, at the center of her ousting is the Deputy Chief of Staff to the White House, Stephen Miller, who focuses on policy and homeland security. The frustration from Miller to want to oust Kristi Noem is twofold, a White House official tells me. The first part of that is that there is really growing frustration around her inability to build out detention facilities. The big, beautiful bill that was passed earlier this year had $45 billion allocated to Noem to oversee the building out of these immigration enforcement facilities. Miller has grown increasingly frustrated that she has not done that in the...
A few days ago, there were some rumors that Trump was going to fire Kristi Noem, and I think this is the end now. If you watch that, I don't see any other way. And I'm not suggesting that, we're going to give Donald praise when it happens. And again, I put question marks because we don't ultimately know. But I think that's the end of Noem. And it's the end of Noem even in the sense that if she can't even take questions, she can't even do the BS that Hegseth has done and RFK Jr. has done, and then all the other Trump appointees have done when they went, to Congress for their confirmations, and then have had Congress, have had hearings since they've gone, and obviously I think they've misled the American people, and they've justified their atrocities against the American people and against the world. But they went and they took their lumps and then they left. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they did that, right? Here, she's not even doing that. I've never seen somebody just storm out like that. I'm sure it's happened, right? Like, America's an old country now, or an old-ish country now. I'm sure somebody stormed out of a hearing before. I can't think of the last time, like, a cabinet secretary has done it. I don't think any Biden or Obama cabinet secretaries did it. So this is where we're at. Trump has to fire her because in many ways she's already fired herself. One of the key responsibilities you have as a member of the cabinet is that as an equal branch, the House is an equal branch, the Congress is an equal branch, you have to be accountable to them in hearings. When they ask for info, you have to provide that info as best you can. And she didn't. She's already failed at her job.